Hey man, what it is? This is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means. There go the cash at. There go the cash at. $ Deem by any means. There go the PayPal at Deem by any means. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. I don't care if you leave $1, $10, $1,000. Is much appreciated. I want to say this too. Don't be eavesdropping. Hit that like button. Don't be eavesdropping. Hit that like button. That's all you got. I mean, that's the least you could do if you ain't going to send a super chat or a cash app. Please hit that like button. Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin are on course to break another live gate at Las Vegas. They on the course to do 18 million, which would prove again that Ryan Garcia wasn't the reason that they did 1.2 million. Not saying that Ryan Garcia didn't play a factor. Yes, he did play a factor because obviously you need a dance partner, but he wasn't the factor. No different than role players on NBA teams. They play a factor, but they're not the factor in winning an NBA championship. And neither was Ryan Garcia, and the reason they was doing 1.2 million. Let's talk about it, y'all. We all know leading up a week before the fight, Ryan Garcia and Devinhaney was still trying to get people to buy their fight or have interest. We also know that Ryan Garcia and Devinhaney numbers haven't came out when you got false reports saying at most they did basically 200,000, but we all know we haven't got no official reports, so more than likely it did less than that. And why I say that, yo? Because all pay-per-views that do exceptionally well, the pay-per-view numbers come out. Y'all can't name me one major fight that did well on pay-per-view where the numbers didn't come out. You can't find me one. Don't even try to, because you can't find one where the numbers, where we had to wait this long, or the numbers just didn't come out at all on a major fight that did well. The only time we don't hear about pay-per-view numbers is when the fight don't do well. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. The only time that we don't hear about pay-per-view numbers is when the fight doesn't do well. Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin are basically a couple weeks out from their fight, and they already going to be sold out. And and then they talking about the tickets. I don't even think you can get any more original tickets. I think everything else is resale right now at this point, which would mean that the fight is already sold out. People are just trying to, do what they do with sneakers. I'll buy some sneakers, and then I sell them for higher. Then I hold them for a little bit, so when they ain't selling them no more, and then I sell them for more than what they worth. But at the end of the day, just this is proven that Ryan Garcia couldn't be the reason that Gervonta Davis is a star. Like y'all was trying to sit up there and run with that narrative and saying what Tank numbers was prior to Ryan. And I kept telling y'all Tank numbers is better than theirs. It doesn't matter what his numbers is prior to Ryan. It's better than Ryan's. Ryan was on free TV directly after pay-per-view. He was on free TV, and then he had a flop pay-per-view with Devinhaney with a bunch of controversy around it. Didn't do close to 1.2 million pay-per-view buys, but y'all was trying to say Ryan was the reason they did 1.2, but didn't want to hold Ryan to that standard or Devin when it came to they fight, because if Ryan is the reason they did 1.2, then Ryan should be the reason that his pay-per-view did exceptionally well with Devinhaney, which it didn't. And Devinhaney was the guy everybody was so-called ducking and was the face of boxing. So him and Ryan should have been a major fight, but it wasn't. They had the comp tickets at the end. They were still had thousands of seats available a week into the fight. And the pay-per-view numbers have never came out. And we're probably never going to see the pay-per-view numbers because it flopped. Especially after Devinhaney did that 50,000 with Regis Prograve, which shout out to Upper Echelon. He told me is more like 35K. But y'all would never give Gervonta Davis an apology for trying to run that man name into the mud and saying that he's only doing this because of everybody else and not trying to give that man his credit. Well, Ryan Garcia and Devin, that's for it already. We already see from the ticket sales right now that I can say that Frank Martin and Gervonta Davis will outsell Ryan and Devin, and it would do better at a live gate, which would mean that the two other people for each other that y'all said what was the person Tank is ducking, and the other person is the reason that Tank has been doing so well. Well, they fought each other. Tank is fighting a lesser name and has outdone both of them already. So whether you think Tank gonna sell 1.2, he ain't gonna sell 1.2 million again or whatever, that doesn't matter. The only part that matters is he's gonna outsell everybody else. He's gonna outsell the people that y'all tried to say was the reason he was selling, which would by default mean that they aren't the reason that he was selling if they can't outsell Tank when they not attached to Tank. Makes sense? Makes sense. If you understand, type understand. When y'all gonna give people their credit, man? When y'all gonna stop discrediting people? Didn't Billhaney tell me on Fanon channel that I am allowed to hold Devinhaney and them responsible if they don't do as well as Gervonta Davis and frankmartin? Well, that has already been proven just off the live gate. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think that 18 million that Frank and Tank is doing just at the live gate is more than the pay-per-view and Devinhaney's and Ryan Garcia live gate combined. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it is. Just that 18 mil. The companies have already made their money back off of frankmartin and Gervonta Davis. Because if y'all go look at that card, I don't think that card cost 18 million to put together. I'm pretty sure that card didn't cost 18 million, especially the way PBC does their business, because as y'all know, they give you a small upfront and give you some of the back end. And if you are a lesser known fighter, then they give you a huge guarantee or whatever they think that you're worth, and that be that. You don't get no back end or any of that. You get the opportunity, the eyes on you. Basically the same thing they did with Jerron Ennis. You get the eyes on you with Pitbull Cruz. I mean, opportunities that those guys are probably thankful for today because their names are out there now, ain't they? Pitbull will probably be headlining his next couple cards. And if he's not going to be the headliner, he definitely going to be the co-main. Pitbull Cruz won't go under the co-main event ever again in his life. So it's so unfortunate that y'all did all of that and said, Dean, what was he doing prior to Ryan? What was he doing prior to Ryan? He was doing better than Ryan prior to Ryan, better than Devin, better than Shakur. Shakur's not even on pay-per-view. Lomachenko's not even on pay-per-view. Like the other guys y'all compare to him, they're not even on pay-per-view. He's doing better than all of them. And that's the part that matters. That's the part that means that he don't have to concede to anything that they talking about. He's doing better with them and without them. And that has been proven a fact. Y'all need to stop trying to discredit people and give people their credit, man, as far as what they bring into the sport. Because Gervonta Davis and Canelo Alvarez are the only two upholding this sport. Gervonta Davis and Canelo Alvarez are the only two people in boxing that has been proven that people are willing to pay to see fight. And as long as we need people to be willing to pay to see people fight, because then that would keep investors, Turkey, Ali, Sheik, people like that involved in boxing. It's a reason Showtime got out of boxing. So y'all can't say you love boxing, but then all y'all do is hate on the main two guys that are upholding the sport. And then y'all talk about, well, Top Rank and all these other guys, they give us free TV. Top Rank and those other companies that you talking about will give their left arm to have Gervonta Davis and Canelo Alvarez on their roster. So that kills your whole point right there. You talking about the business that they doing is good and what PBC and them is doing is bad. But if they had those two fighters from PBC, they would give their left arm for it and do the same exact thing. If you think that Gervonta Davis would be fighting on free TV with Bob Arum, you're out your mind. Because Canelo never did it. Canelo hasn't not been on paper. Every fight Canelo has been on pay-per-view, except for the ones I think when they first was trying to start the DAZN and he had that whole thing where they was trying to act like they was doing it for boxing and all that. And then they stopped making money off of it. And then look what happened. Had to send him right back to pay-per-view. But Gervonta Davis will never not be on pay-per-view again. If you got a commodity, listen here. And a reason why Gervonta Davis and frankmartin is selling, because it's for the same reason that you don't see commercials for Lamborghini. Because people that's actually going to go to Gervonta Davis fight, people that actually support Gervonta Davis, people that's actually interested in Gervonta Davis, they got bread. That's one. They actually are interested in wanting to see him do successful. That's two. And he don't have to do all that promoting and extra stuff because the product already selling itself. Gervonta Davis is like non-stepped on cocaine. It'll sell itself. All you gotta do is give it to one or two junkies. They'll tell everybody else. You ain't gotta say anything. And that's just how the cookie crumbles, y'all. So if you're a man of any integrity, if you're a woman of any integrity who've been hating on Gervonta Davis, you can at least get a man his credit and say, my fault, Tank, for saying Ryan Garcia the reason that you was being successful. My fault for bringing up your pay-per-view numbers and all of that before, when my favorite fighters either haven't even been on pay-per-view or haven't even done close to your lowest pay-per-view numbers. How y'all let Gervonta Davis outsell Devin and Ryan with Frank Martin, who's a lesser name than all three of those individuals? It can't be because of Ryan Garcia. If it was because of Ryan Garcia, then Ryan Garcia's own pay-per-views would be doing very, very well without Gervonta Davis. But as we've seen with Devinhaney, the face of boxing that I was told by YouTube channels, if you understand, type understand, the best fighting the best and all of this nonsense that they be talking about. Yeah, Devin and Ryan should have been Blockbuster, but it wasn't. And then y'all tried to blame Ryan for why it wasn't Blockbuster, but then y'all tried to give Ryan all the credit for why him and Gervonta Davis was. Well, Gervonta Davis has broken damn near another live gate in Las Vegas. That's funny. He had that fight with Ryan Garcia. I believe that was in Las Vegas. He's having a fight with Frank Martin in Las Vegas. And it's only looking like it's going to be what, 6-7 mil lesser than what him and Ryan did. That's amazing. That's amazing. Because to be honest, I didn't even think the live gate would be that big. I didn't even think it would be close to an 18 million and all that. I've been proven wrong on that. Clearly. So Gervonta Davis do 250, 300,000, 400,000 pay-per-views with that live gate. That's great because Frank Martin is not a name. Frank Martin is not a name. If Frank Martin was more of a name, it would do more. Because then that shows you that if Shakur Stevenson or Devin fight him or somebody that people Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, that's 600,000 easy. That's 600,000 easy and up. Because the only thing that you do got to give Ryan credit for is that Ryan Garcia already had a bigger following than all of those guys we are mentioning prior to fighting Gervonta Davis. But as you've seen, it didn't correlate to what him and Devin had going on. His second pay-per-view without Gervonta Davis didn't do well at all. But all of Gervonta Davis pay-per-views has done well. And live gates. He never had to beg nobody to come to his fights. So y'all know what this is, man. I'm killing another narrative. 40 mil bill, what they call them. I know y'all don't like it. I don't care. You should have kept your mouth closed. You shouldn't have started talking about pay-per-view numbers and trying to discredit Gervonta Davis if you ain't want me making this video. Y'all talked. Y'all said y'all points. Now I'm just using y'all talking points and things that y'all said right back at you. Y'all said Ryan is the reason Gervonta Davis did this well. Well, Ryan Garcia has had 2 more fights since Gervonta Davis, and none of them have done close to what he did to Gervonta Davis. But Gervonta Davis has 1 fight after Ryan Garcia and is doing very close to what he did with Ryan Garcia. So y'all know what this is, man. Game by any means. And I'll holler at y'all.